welcome back to iiRcade Gamedaze. I'm your host, Michael, and let's show off some games today, right? Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you guys have had a chance to look at the store today. We got 3 new games for you, of course. We got Ganryu, we got Mario Cops, we've also got Wish Loves Bullets, so plus many other titles to check out. Hope everyone's doing great. So let's kick off today actually by just showing the games. Let's do that. So the first title that I want to show you guys is the one that's right behind me actually right now. It's Which Loves Bullets. So this is made by a solo developer. It's amazing. So it's a fun little shooter. It's quirky. You play as a witch riding a broomstick, shooting out little balls of fire, dropping little bubbles everywhere too. So let me get this game on screen for you guys here a little bit better, easier to see. Let me also change all this up. Episode 3, still getting out the kinks and everything like that, so I'm still working on it, guys. Sorry for the delay last week, too. I know it's supposed to be it's like episode 2.5 right now, right? I was sick last week. I actually had no voice whatsoever on Friday, so even if I wanted to host a show, it would just be me sitting here in a chair. So that would have been no fun for anybody. But all right, so Which Loves Bullets? Here we go. Let me show you guys here. Let me put this at full screen for you. There we go. So what's really cool about this game is the developer actually just wanted to put it in track mode for us, which is amazing. So this game has an track mode. This game does have global leaderboards, as you guys can see right here too. I haven't actually taken the time to look at them yet today, but it looks like you guys have already started ranking up on me, which is great. So there's different difficulty modes in this game too, and each one has its own leaderboard attached to it. So there you go. So start. We'll go on normal for me. So this game's only got 2 buttons, so it's just A to fire, and B to drop these bubbles. You can actually switch that as well to the options menu, which is really cool. This game also does have auto firing, so you can actually hold the button down. So if you guys have that arthritis in the hand like me, this might be a little bit easier for you. So there's cauldrons, there's ghosts, there's frogs, there's bats. This game's got a lot of different spooky themes going on, which is great. What's also really cool about this game too is this bubble that you guys can drop to attack. Not only does it do a little bit more damage than the normal firing rate, there's power up right there too, but this bubble actually has physics as well too. So if you're on top of water later on in the game too, I think level 2 has water. If you're on top of the water, the bubbles will actually bounce along the surface of the water, or if you're underwater at that time too, the bubbles actually float upward. So it gives that a little bit of a different mechanic to the game too. There we go, all right. Doing pretty okay so far. Let's skip some bats. So remember, this game does have leaderboards too, so the more things that you actually kill in this game too, the higher your score is going to go to. The harder difficulties have additional enemies, things like that too. Usually it's mostly more enemies. That's what the difficulty curve kind of ramps up to in this game. Try to make it to the first boss for you guys here. But if you're looking for something just kind of really fun, cute, little easy shooter, this game is phenomenal. Plus, again, you've got that leaderboard in there too, so if you guys want to compete, go for it. Coming up here. Oh, sorry about that. That's not what I want to do. Let's go on a little bit more volume for you guys here. Hope you guys can hear me because it's hard to tell on this end if you guys can actually hear me too well. All right, so this is actually the first boss of the game. It's not too bad. You can see his health bars right down there at the bottom of the screen too. I'm actually going to bypass these guys so I can just kind of get through them real quick. We're getting there. We'll shoot this guy down. So you can see too, my lives are at the top left. So you get more lives on easy and normal than you do on hard and harder. Casual, you actually cannot. You get an infinite amount of lives, so it's pretty fun. If you just want an easy kind of gameplay, smooth ride, you do that. That's the casual mode. I am doing terrible right now. There we go. Stage 1 clear though. I got it. At the expense of my one life. But there you guys go. That's Which Loves Bullets. Let's back out a little bit here. So that's the first game I want to show you guys today. So that's on the store right now too. And for the price of a cup of coffee, it's really good, guys. So it's a solid game, solid little shooter. I like it a lot. All right, so the next game that we got up here too, actually on my list. Let's go ahead and turn around. Mario Cops. Let's load that guy up. Bam. Look at that. production value right here. Okay, here. This way. Okay, getting there. Haven't actually looked at the chat yet, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm paying attention to your questions. I'm sorry. We'll do Q&A at the end today for sure, too. So if you guys have questions, hold on to them until then, too. Write them down if you need to, like I do all the time. But we will do Q&A, too, at the end, of course, like we usually do. So Mariaza Cops is the next game I want to show you guys that came out today, too. So this is by a fun developer in City Games. So I get to work really closely with all the developers. It's great. This is one of my favorite developers just because he was so fast on all the builds. So it was great. Fixes were super easy for this game. This game was an easy port. It was phenomenal. This game also has leaderboards in it too. So it's kind of like an Iron Man mode, like your original like old school Mario and stuff like that too. Once you're out of lives, that's it. It's game over. If you want to progress in the story more, kind of too bad. You got to get good. So that's why the curve in this game is a little bit hard at first too to get through all the way. And then of course with the leaderboards too, the more enemies you kill, the more things that you do within the game too, your score is going to go higher. So here we go. Yeah, so this is the little intro right here, actually, too, rolling out. Just, yeah, there we go. So I'll actually skip through. Mature rated title, by the way, too, or teen rated. There's a little bit of language and things in this game, too, so. All right, I'll actually exit real quick so I can actually skip this because I didn't mean to get to that part of the game. So real short load times in this game, which is great too. All right. So first screen, of course, 1-player, 2-player, high scores. So yeah, this is a 2-player game. You can play as both agents Jasper and TJ. So you get your choice. If you're playing solo, you can be TJ or Jasper. Jasper's got a cool mustache, so I'm going to go with him right now. So this game's got a couple different mechanics. Excuse me. I'm still a little bit sick from last week. I'm going to try not to cough on you guys. So what's really cool about this game, too, as you can see here, the lighting is really interesting. So it's this pixel art style, but then on top of that, it's got this really, really, like, intense lighting in this game, too. These neon colors and stuff, which is great. All right, so I need a weapon. It's back in the trunk of the car, so of course I got to go all the way back here because I forgot to pick up my gun. Terrible at jumping, apparently, too. So if you guys haven't tried this yet on the Switch, this just came out this year, too, not too long ago. So this is a brand new title. Of course, we prefer to play it here. So basically, your up and down are gonna, if you can see, I can rotate my gun right there. That's me actually pressing up and down on the controller. Or on the joystick. Sorry about that. Go ahead and jump. All right, so now that I've got my weapon now, trigger happy here, I can actually bust down this door. So you can see the health bar up there too, going down. So this game actually, you can improve your firing damage, your rate of fire, and then as well as your accuracy too, which is pretty cool. So those are the three things that you're going to be upgrading throughout the entire game. So once I get into here, this is sort of the first little mini boss battle too that's going to drop down. There it is. So a lot of times you're fighting these little kind of Wall-E robot guys. There they are. If you can see this little kind of pill thing over here, that's actually health. Oh no, I'm gonna die probably. The other thing you're doing too when you're attacking everything is building up your ROE. If you can see it on the bottom right of my screen too, that's gonna be like your special ability later on too. So I'm actually maxed out right there, so I can actually use it really quick by pressing. There we go. So that's actually my special right there. So that, and then that'll continuously build up as you go. All right. You guys have probably seen me fight enough of these robots now too. So I'll pause it here for now. Come back to you guys. So that's Mariaza Cops basically in a nutshell. I mean, the game gets a lot more intense than what you just saw too. That's clearly just the beginning of the game too. You get to use cranes and other things to pick up boxes. There's physics aspects to this game too later on, which is great too. There's an electric sheep, which is fun. Fun little nod there too, of course. So yeah, if you guys haven't checked out Mario Cops, highly encourage it, especially on the iArcade. We've got this fantastic sound system to go along with the amazing music of this game too. So then the third title that I wanted to show you guys today too, of course, is Ganryu. So Ganryu is a more famous Visco title. If you guys haven't heard of it, you missed out back in the day, but you can get it now, so no need to worry. So Ganryu, you can play as Musashi and Suzume, I believe. That's right. Yep. So those are two characters that you get to play as. This game's actually based off of a cool little story from feudal era Japan too. By the way, in case you ever want to look it up on Wikipedia, there is actually a story behind the game that it's loosely based off of. It's not like to a T. But I'm a big history buff, so that's kind of fun stuff for me, especially too. So if you guys want to check that out too. So Ganryu, right here. So one of our Visco pixel art titles too. So this game came out in 1999, I believe too. So it's a sort of newer arcade title, I would say too. It's not super, super old or anything like that too. Try and scroll through the chat a little bit too. Rastin and Bubble Bobble. Okay, let's see. Take this time to look through a little bit. So I hope you guys can hear my gameplay because I can hear myself right now too through the screen, or else I'll get echo. But this is Ganryu, so it's got this fun track mode and everything like that too, of course, like all arcade game shit. So we got a kidnapping going on, of course, too. So this is a two-player game too. You can pick Suzume or Musashi. That's Musashi right now too, and they do differ in their power, their dexterity, and their vitality, of course, too. So how to play, it's going to show you all the special moves and things like that too. Let's go through that for now. So it's really cool. So there's a lot of layering to this game, right? So you got your claws and everything too that you can use for you to put on stuff. So I'm clearly great at this game right now. So what's really cool about this game, though, too, is honestly like the layering effect of everything too. I'm just terrible at it, but give me this really quick. Okay. But the fact that you can just climb on all these buildings, okay, a little better now. So I can actually keep climbing here. If you can see, and there's actually special parts of levels that you can sort of get to and access just by exploring, which is really cool about this game too. I'm always into exploratory things in games too. The soundtrack is banging. Success. Good. So, and later on in the game too, it does get like really fast-paced roll moves and everything that's going on. So this is Ganryu though. It is available right now on the store for you guys to play. I'll keep it going. I'll let myself die. So yeah, so let's take a break from games at least for a second actually too. What kind of questions you guys got for me today too? We'll open up a little bit of Q&A right now too. Let's see, scroll through too. Yes, Michael plays games, Michael's not good at games. That's right. I'm good at games when I need to be good at games, I guess too, in a competitive scenario. Otherwise, no, yeah, I'm bad at games. That's fair. I just get to make games. I'm not good at them. The more time you spend making games, the less active time you get to actually play games. Let's see here. These alien ninjas. No, they're not. All right. If I don't see any questions, like actual questions with like a little asterisk and question in front of it, then I'm going to keep moving on because I can't scroll through the entire list. Let's see here. Kev said, how do you get in touch with the cop developer? I think that was actually Prince who sent them our way, I believe, too. And then after that, so Actually, a good segue into what we're about to talk to. Let's see. So I actually want to show you guys a little bit too. Let me move down a little bit there. So something else that I wanted to talk about, of course, is Rangox, guys. So this game came out last week, and unfortunately, because I was sick last week, I didn't get to talk to you guys about it. So this is a game that I worked heavily on with the developer, which is great. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's one of my favorite parts of my job. So Ganryu is 2 players simultaneous. Yes, that's right. But so for now, so we'll hold off on questions for now. Actually, we'll go back. We'll do Q&A later again too. Don't worry. So Rangox, guys, it's made by a fantastic developer called. Let me actually get to it too. Samurai Games. So Samurai Games is fantastic. The builds were super quick from these guys. So let me walk you guys kind of through like what I do as far as development goes, right? So I get a developer placed in my lab, into my email, really, either by Minchik, by Kevin, our partner manager, or potentially by somebody else. Or I might contact them myself too. It kind of all depends. There's various ways. Once that conversation gets opened up, basically, we sign agreement forms so that we can like legally get things going. And then after that, it's pretty much they're handed off to me, and then I'm with them for the entire pipeline the rest of the way. Everything kind of goes through us. We jointly decide prices and things like that together too if we need to. Those you guys can see, games are comparably priced the same on every console, the same, even though they do require a little bit of extra work, and developers give us extra features, which is cool. So really, you're getting a little bit of a better value on our system, quite honestly, too. On top of that, it's more fun to play on an arcade, right? So Rangox, guys, is really cool. So once I get the developer emails and stuff going like that, too, they'll send me the first build. Usually, I'll send them back a video after that, too. So what happens then is basically I'll pop it in, say like, hey, it's performing well, it's not performing well, I can play it, the controls work, the controls don't work, do I need to configure things like that too? That's my base level. And then from there, I'll send them back a video usually, as long as the game is working, generally speaking, right? I can install it on our kits and things like that too. So once that gets going, they can see on video like proof of concept, basically, like it's running on an iiRcade. Here's what I need you guys to change, basically, too. So I'll send them out a list of what I need as far as fixes go. And then from there, they'll basically shoot me back builds. We'll go back and forth a little bit. And then you have a game on a system pretty much, too. It's usually really easy to port, especially if games are already on Android or Switch. They're usually already optimized. Honestly, just in console in general, too. If they're on PlayStation or Xbox, too. If they're optimized for a console, they're pretty much good to go on our kit too, because we're also a console. We kind of have decent specs and things like that too, like a Switch does. So it's gonna usually work out just fine. So a game like Rangox is really cool too, because the developer Samurai too, I asked him, I was like, do you want to add an attract mode? He was like, hell yeah, let's do it, right? So that was really cool. So heck yeah, sorry. So once I got that in, that was cool. But he's like, yo, I might need some videos, right? So because the aspect ratio is a little bit different and he can't really record them on his own necessarily. So we actually recorded them for him. So I went to my QA team and was like, hey guys, can we record some stuff for Rangox, guys, just some general gameplay? So my awesome QA team actually took care of that for us. I sent him over the videos. He put together this amazing attract mode that's playing right behind me right now too. And then on top of that too, there's always bugs and things like that too. I worked with him on that, getting the kinks out of the system, playing the music over that, and not just having the music in the background all the time too. So that's fun. And then after that goes down to, he also wanted a voiceover too. And he's like, do you guys have any voiceover kind of people you can hook me up with? I was like, no, but I can do the voiceover myself if you really want. And he liked it. So he kept it in the game. So that voice that you guys hear saying Rangox, guys, that's actually me. So it's cool. So I'm in the game now a little bit, which is cool. On top of that, adding global leaderboards. Of course, we got that functionality going on in Rangox, guys. Which is amazing too. I love the display of the leaderboards, especially in this game too. You can see them going on behind me whenever this gameplay video ends. But it's really cool. So you got the Terminators leaderboard, and then you've got all the other ones too. So you got 4 different leaderboards for this game actually too. And then so those are all in there. And once we make sure that's all working, I basically with my QA team the entire time they're just checking over every single build and just making sure this works, this doesn't, things are broken. We had a build where all of a sudden the controller just broke out of nowhere, which was fun. So those things are going on during development all the time too. So that's what I do here. With my team, I work on that and make sure these things work and function and play before I release them to you guys. So yeah, that's it. So Rangox, guys, released last week. It's doing fantastic. I'm glad you guys are loving it so far too. If you haven't checked it out yet, this is an amazing, amazing shooter, a shmup for our system basically too. This is a classic style arcade game in a new brought into today's modern era. Basically, that's what this game is, which is amazing. The replay value is fantastic. There's so much depth to this game too that you guys are kind of starting to see too, which is great online. When I see troll through the forums and the Facebook groups and things like that too, it's great to see you guys kind of discovering all the little fun things that you can do with this game. Plus, the soundtrack is banging. The soundtrack's amazing for this game too, and you actually unlock tracks of gameplay too, which I love. Everything that encourages playing the game more. Of course, I want. So, and on top of that too, if you haven't, there's 3 different characters you start off with. Astra, it's Astra, Marco, and Big Joe. But then you can also unlock Samurai, which is incredibly difficult to unlock. So whoever already unlocked it on the leaderboards, by the way, I saw that icon. Like, hats off to you, sir or madam, whoever you are. That was amazing. So I was surprised somebody unlocked that so fast because it's rough. So yeah, so check out Rangox, guys, when you can too. I just want to talk about it because I missed it last week, and it's one of my new favorite games on the system. I loved working with this developer, and we plan on getting a lot more games like this coming to you guys soon too. So stay tuned on that. Let's see. I see some questions actually going on right now too. So let's see here. Do you guys have any development-related questions? How about that, with people porting to the system and things like that too? We'll stick to that topic for now, and then I'll open the floodgates a little later on today. 4th boss. Yeah, I know this game's hard. Any chance of getting Donkey Kong ported to the iiRcade? Probably not. Nintendo has a pretty tight grip on a lot of things. They don't like to play too nice usually. It depends. We'll see though. I mean, anything's possible, right? Like Zhang always says. So who knows? Who knows what the future holds for games like that? Yeah, I'm glad you guys are liking Rangox, guys, and both sides of the channel too. All right, cool. I'll move on. So on top of Rangox, guys, too, of course, last week I missed Meganoid 2017 came out too. Heroes of Loot 2 as well too. If you guys have the first Heroes of Loot, it's kind of like a Gauntlet style game, just brought into a modern light, which is amazing. It's another orange pixel game. It's got a fun, cute art style, things like that too. A lot of comedic humor. And then on top of that, Blockin', which is a fantastic puzzle game too, from Visco Pixel Art. So Blockin's out there now too. It is Japanese, fair warning, but it's amazing. Doesn't really matter. The Japanese text makes it more fun to me. But yeah, so if you like puzzle games, fantastic one came out last week, Blockin', to check out. Any chance of getting Taito Zookeeper? Stay tuned. Stay tuned on Taito. We'll see. We'll see what happens. What else do we have here? How many people are on the QA team? Do you reach out to the community to test? Not currently. We did reach out to the community to test for Retromania, but it's not super common that we do that. My QA team is actually only 3 people plus me, quite honestly. So we're small, and it depends. It was a little more hectic at first when we had hundreds of titles to test and like nobody had tested anything now. But now that we're sort of like caught up, we're not always backlogged and things like that. It's a little easier now, especially with 3 people too. So it really just depends how swamped we are as far as like the games that we have coming down the pipeline later on too. There's always something cooking in the kitchen. So it really depends. We get swamped, but do we need community testing? Maybe sometimes. It really depends. Usually we can handle it ourselves in-house. For opening to community testing, things like that too, like Retromania, it's more the scale of the game, the size of the game too. If we need to really lock down, if there's going to be a lot of bugs, if there's just a lot of different scenarios that it's not possible for us to test as a team of 3 people or 4 people even with me. It's just, that's when we'll start kind of spreading out a little bit more, right? So older arcade games and things like that too, they're not too hard to test because they're usually 20 to 30 minute playthrough, and that's kind of it. Once you beat the golden path, that's it. You can check for like extras and stuff if those exist. Sorry, guys. Clearing through a little bit still a little sick. I apologize. So on top of that, the Android and modern games, those take more time to test, right? I can't mention a lot of games that are in the pipe right now, but there's some heavy testing going on too. A game like Dead Cells, say, took us a while to test just because the golden path in that game to get through just the general gameplay path takes a while, right? So, and then we have to test it over and over again too, depending on how many bills that we get. And if we have to spot check anything too, that happens a lot. What else do we have here? Will Cuphead have leaderboards? We don't even have Cuphead yet, so I can't answer that question. Let's see. All right. Those are more just game-related questions too. Okay. I can't reveal too many things about the games that are coming right now, guys. You just gotta stay tuned on Tuesdays, especially. Jean will let you know. Any status on the release for Mayhem Brawlers? Stay tuned on that one too. So Mayhem Brawlers is supposed to release in August, so we'll see. We'll see what pans out there. Can I confirm that more Taito titles are coming? The Legends library was so good. That's fair. Taito has a ton of great titles, and we would love to get more of them. Maybe we'll have more coming soon. Definitely tune in on Tuesday shows. Zhang will give you more reveals than I will. I'm a producer, so I like to stay very tight-lipped. He's a little bit more gung-ho than I am with announcing titles, so stay tuned on Tuesday. Check it out. We might have more titles coming down. Taito titles. That's hard to say. Let's see. Question: can you translate Blocken so I can read it? No. It's a Japanese-only game. It only ever released in Japan, not the U.S. So, learn Japanese, Mark. Learn Japanese. That's what I want you to do. That's why I gave you that game. Let's see. Question. So, who has final say on control configurations? The game. So we actually talked about this on the first episode 2 weeks ago. So me, I have final say in the controller configuration, basically. So it really depends. Again, we play these games to nausea. Like we play these games so much, right, for testing, because we have to make sure they work, right? So like my QA team can tell me like this feels terrible to play because we've played it for 16 plus hours and my hand hurts. And if we change it this way, it'll be so much better. So I trust their judgment a lot too. But generally speaking, again, we try to keep control schemes as close to the original arcade scheme as we can for those kind of games. For new gen titles, it's a little different because I have to kind of figure that one out. That's kind of uncharted territory. So those are really fun projects for me, quite honestly. But yeah, as far as controllers go, I have the final say, basically, too. But we try to appeal to the biggest mass market audience as we can as far as controls. What feels best for the greatest amount of people? If there's like 2 people being like, I wish it was like this, I'm probably not going to change it when everybody else is having a good time with the game. That's just kind of how it goes right now, too. Maybe later on down the line, we can have software updates that allow you to change the controls yourself. We'll see. Stay tuned on that one, too. Anything's possible, for sure. And I would love to give you that kind of option too. We're not trying to hold you back at all there. So if you could finagle the controls yourself too, I would love to give you that ability for sure. Let me see here. Can Burger Time screen size be adjusted? Kind of. So old school games especially are extremely, extremely difficult to adjust. And when we make adjustments too, we have to get them approved by the developer or by the publisher, whoever owns the rights to the game, who we're licensing it through for those kind of games too. It gets a little tricky. So not every game is a 5:4 aspect ratio, which is what we are. Some are 3:4, some are 4:3, which is interesting too when you see that. And then of course most modern titles are now 16:9 is average. So it really just depends on how you can scale the game. An old school game like that for this kind of things, they're hard to adjust for sure. So I would love to make it we try to make it full screen as much as possible. Yes, if that's what you're going at. We really do. I promise you that. Overlooked title. So actually, this is a fantastic question, Nathan, and it's a great segue into our next topic today. So let me actually take down this banner here and let me go on to my next game. So today, I want to show you guys games you might have missed. So let me actually get that a little bit there so it's a little bit less distracting for you guys too. So every Friday now, I want to kind of pull up like 3 games that you guys have kind of basically missed over probably. If they haven't, I can kind of see how games are doing and things like that too. And these are just games that we feel they're still phenomenal titles, right? It's just that they might have not gotten enough love, or they might have been overshadowed by something else that week too. Maybe Space Invaders got released that week or things like that too. So it's a little bit hard. Really, scheduling is a little rough sometimes. So hidden gems available on the iiRcade. One, I have a huge list of these first off, but the ones that I picked for you guys today, at least two. First one is Dandara. So there you go. You can see my fancy little thing too. Let me add to stream my Dandara feed here. There we go. Let's go like that. So Dandara is a really, really cool game that we got to work on, especially for an arcade game too. One, it's got this amazing art style, this amazing pixel art style too. So it's got an old school kind of feel to it because of that too, but it's very, very much a modern title too. What's really cool is that it's a platformer, but instead of doing normal movement like you would just to walk around left and right and things like that with a joystick too, you have to go platform to platform. So because of that, it gets very, very different mechanically, right? So as you guys can see in the video, this way, there we go, I got this. You're actually jumping platform to platform like that too, and that's the only movement you have in the game too, right? So when you're fighting enemies and doing difficult puzzles and stuff like that later on too, you're jumping around from these platforms and you have to aim your way to the right spot basically too, right? So let's see here. Yeah, so Dandara is fantastic. In case you guys missed it, I highly recommend checking it out. If you guys are kind of like, have nothing else going on right now as far as titles that you're looking for, and you missed this game, this is a phenomenal title. It's got a ton of gameplay too. It's probably a good 10 to 12 hours, I want to say. On top of that, it's got replay value too. There's things to collect. There's different abilities. There's different upgrades. There's, it's amazing. I love this game. So, and the soundtrack is so good too. It's very calming and peaceful, and like, yeah, it's just a very zen kind of game. So, on top of the gameplay being really good. So that's the first game that I want to show you guys. Yes, that's right. 20 of 10 recommend. Yes, Dandara, for sure. All right, on top of that, let's move on to our next game. So the next game that I want to show you guys too, that a lot of people missed out on, is Crackdown. Actually, a Sega title, weirdly enough. So a lot of people kind of overlooked this one. So let me take off Dandara real quick. Here you guys go. Here is Crackdown. So Crackdown, of course, is a Sega title too, and Crackdown has been released so many other times too, in newer versions on other systems and stuff too. I remember when it was big on Xbox Live for a while too, when they were giving it away for free, that version. But yeah, it's still the same game too. It's amazing too because it's a two-player game, so if you're playing with somebody else all the time too, your kids, your friends, your wife, your husband, whoever you're playing with basically, right? This is a great two-player game. I love it. You're working together the entire time too, so it's nice not to always compete. I like doing the co-op games too a lot. So this is definitely next on my list. If you guys have not checked it out yet, it kind of got overshadowed a little bit by the other Sega titles, right? Shadow Dancer is a big one usually. Shadow Dancer, Space Harrier, all those fun ones too. Let's see. On top of that, what is my t-shirt size? That's an interesting question. Medium. Medium is about right for me. I'm not a huge guy, so it kind of depends how long I've been in the gym for, though. All right, so last but not least, on top of Crackdown, it's going to be, sorry, there's a lot of screens to go through here, I gotta say. Sean does a good job here. So after Crackdown, we got Goats. So Goats is, again, a classic arcade game, too, that I want to show you guys, too, that kind of got overshadowed a little bit, too. It's ridiculous. I know it's a little bit loud, too. This game is very loud, mind you, even at the lowest setting nowadays. So what's cool about this game, too, is it's not just a normal brick breaker and things like that, too. You play as these guys with their arms out. You're actually not – that's not a play that you're seeing. That's actually like a genie with his arms out, which is fantastic. There's so many things going on the screen all the time, too. So many balls, so many different combos, so many different specials you can do in this game, too. And on top of that, you can play this together, too. You don't have to compete. You can compete and score a little bit if you really want to against your friends and family and things like that, too. But you honestly work cooperatively together. Cooperatively is a hard word for me to say. You work together in this game to, defeat the bosses, take out the levels, things like that, too, and progress on. So Ghost is a great game if you're looking for like a sort of brick breaker kind of puzzly game, too. Definitely advise checking out this game too. It's on the store, just like all these other games are right now. There we go. All right, so let me move back into, there we go, my normal kind of setup, right? So those were the games that you guys might have missed. Dandara, Crackdown, and Ghost. So again, Dandara especially, I love that game. That's one of my favorite games on the system too. if you're looking for modern titles, especially, Dendar is a phenomenal title for the system. Yokes is amazing as far as old school brick breaker games go, and of course, Crackdown is a classic from Sega too. All right, so let's open it up to more actual Q and A now, right? So anything you guys want to throw at me, feel free. Put some asterisks, some question in there so I can find out who's asking what. There's a lot of questions in this thing. I don't want to scroll up all the way. New happy juice. Take a shot every time. Nah, not quite. So I think I actually got asked this on the first week too, Steve. But going back, so that's not on the system now, but like might potentially be one day. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. Clearly, we all want Streets of Rage and Turtles, so that's on there. I'm a big Turtles fan, but let me think. It's a very hard question actually too. There's a lot of games that I think would make fantastic arcade games as far as modern titles that just aren't. They need to be kind of rebuilt a little bit for it. I would love to see like a MOBA and something on here too, but like that would be another monster of a thing to do. But like a really competitive game is really what I'm looking for, Steve. That's like my all time like goal right now. Like a really really hardcore competitive game that we can almost do like an esports off of. That's kind of my next big project that I'm looking for. Let's see, going down the list here. Gordon with a game related question. What up, Gordon? Hockey, golf, bowling, 3D fighters, and more 90s modern title games coming. Of course, we've got everything coming. Always. We've always got everything coming. Can I talk about any of them? No, not really right now. But stay tuned for sure too. Like I said, John on Tuesdays, he's going to be more of your announcement guy than I am. I'm a producer. I'm very, very tight-lipped. So it's hard to get a lot out of me as far as new releases go. But yes, the answer is absolutely. We will definitely push to get games like 3D Fighters, and I know you guys always want hockey, and we'll get P-Dubs' Dart game eventually, I'm sure too. That's on my list. Or I'll just make it myself. We'll find out. Let's see here. When coming out of a pause or a sleep, she make a loud popping sound. Actually, okay, so yes. So great. SJ? I'm not gonna butcher your name, I promise. I'm not gonna even try to read it now. So yes, so this is actually fully should be fixed in our next update that's coming out. Stay tuned for that too. All I can say is really it's coming soon. But yes, so this was something that's been on my list too for fixes for a while now too. So that's this as well as fully muted volume. Even when there's a game going on and things like that too, there's no more white noise and stuff too. The speaker is fully muted now. Whenever you're even playing a game and there should be sound going on, but you have it muted, that's the white noise is gone now. So that's in the next upcoming update. That's officially gone. I promise you that. We checked that over so many times now. So on top of plenty of other fixes too. Stay tuned on that. Just like Doom. I mean, I would love Doom. I worked on Doom, if you guys didn't know. So I was QA in Doom. So I would love to see Doom, Doom Eternal, of course, because it's one of my favorite games to play. I like a big, just gross FPS where I can just run and gun the entire time. I love it. So just killing demons, why not? But yeah, I mean, we're looking for all kind of games right now, right? And we're loving the opportunity to just like expand on the library too in multiple ways, right? So to get newer titles like that would be great too. I hear Doom, the original Doom, is actually potentially open source. So I don't know, maybe we can throw something together. We'll see. All right, let me hide that. There we go. It's a question. People have been asking. By people, I assume Mark means just himself, just so you guys know. And the answer is, I sort of don't really know. That game is so random. Everything you do in that game gets you points, right? So defeating enemies, using presents, getting presents, exploring the map, uncovering new areas, warping sometimes too, just gives you points. So like, do I have an exact answer for this? No. The point system is seemingly random to me, though I know that it's not. This is something I might have to ask the developer to actually get further info on, because there's a lot of things that go into that point system, and I honestly couldn't even tell you what gives all the points and what gives the most points. If you're looking for like how to get a high score, Just do as much as possible on every single map that you get to. It's really how you're going to win before you warp up. That's kind of the answer to that question. Let me see. Let's see here. If not Doom Wolfenstein, of course I want Wolfenstein 2. I also worked on Wolfenstein 2, so that was fun. Both New Colossus and others. Let's see here. If a developer comes to you today, how long would it take to actually get the game on the system? This is a great question, Brian. The answer is all depends. A lot of games, honestly, they port over so easily too. If a game is programmed well, like by today's standards, it's pretty darn easy to just hit the export button to make it an APK and just bring it on over. That's pretty much it. My biggest thing that I usually have to tell people is one, change adjusting to the 5:4 aspect ratio from usually a 16:9, right? That's usually the biggest thing for developers that they have to change. On top of that, it's just changing the controller UI icons to match the iiRcade console. That's usually the two biggest things. Otherwise, they usually honestly just run just fine. So a lot of times developers will just hand me a game and it's working. I'm like, we got to change some icons here or there, but art assets are so easy to just change in the code that like otherwise it's pretty simple. A game like Mario Cops, super quick. Rangox guys, extremely quick. The games, they worked right out of the box. The moment that I installed them on my system, I figured out the controls, and then from there, that was it. So everything else was just cosmetic for the most part too, and like adding in a track mode and leaderboards and stuff like that too. That stuff's all super easy on the back end as long as there's a point system in place, right? So yeah, honestly, it really depends on the developer. Typically, it's extremely easy. And I can tell you that myself while I develop Zhongpong. All right, let's see. Yes, Mark, I know you mean points for the leaderboard. The answer is the same thing. Just do more stuff in the game to get more points. That's really all I got for you, my dude. A knee IP? I don't know what a knee IP is. I assume you mean our special IP, basically, too, iiRcade exclusive. So the answer is sort of yes, and it's sort of being done by me currently, actually, too, with, say, Zhangpong, right, too. Little story, I am actually a game developer who can make his own games, and that's what I do outside of here. So the answer is maybe. We would love to start kind of like developing our own stuff. That'd be amazing. Of course, we would love to have our own specific IPs and things like that too. Why not? That's what Nintendo did, and that's how they got big, right? They had name brand IP characters, and they just stuck with them. That's it. They really only have, maybe they started out with maybe 3 to 5 characters tops. And then after that, they expanded clearly over the years because it's been decades. But in the beginning, they really only had a couple characters, and they just stuck with them. They kept using them and using them and using them again. So we'd love to do something like that. Sure, why not? Do I have anything planned right now? Sort of. But stay tuned on that, too. I can't really reveal all my secrets to you guys, too. But the answer is yes. We would like to do that for sure. Is there anything planned for it? No. Whoever mentioned Road Rash, I just saw it. And I love that you said Road Rash because that was my favorite games for Genesis. There we go. Gordon said it. Road Rash is amazing. That'd be fantastic to have, yes. So specific IPs, what else we got? Sony's surgery possibility. Sure. Anything's possible. It's about getting in touch with the right people pretty much. So Master Pixel mapping for 5.4 harder parts. I mean, this really doesn't apply to like modern games, really. So, no, I would say no. More games, more games. I know you guys want these games too. Let's see. Tim, great question for just me, I guess. Yeah, a lot. So I worked at a couple big name companies too. Titles that I had a bigger hand in, I would say too, or most Bethesda titles. So Doom, Evil Within 2. So I worked on horror games, which was a trip, especially from Tango Gameworks because they're a Tokyo-based studio, and Japanese horror games are intense because you don't need morning coffee at 7 a.m. when you're testing a new jump scare that you don't know exists. So that I worked on Wolfenstein a little bit too, Wolfenstein 2, Dishonored series, Dishonored 2, Death of the Outsider, a few others. But yeah, Elder Scrolls Online. So those are like my bread and butter that you guys would know. Other than that, smaller indie titles that you guys probably just have no idea what they are even too, as well as my own games, right? Let's see. Let's see. Casino or card game would be nice. That's true. Trivia would also be really cool to see. I would love to host a trivia night on through iArcade. That would be cool. That requires servers, so we're working on that. And I can exploit that a little bit later on. So here's a good one from Keon. Can you give us any information on whether it be online PvP, co-op style games, not specific, modern or retro, coming to iArcade like Bomb Squad anytime soon? Sort of. Yes. How soon? I can't necessarily say, but the answer is yes. There will definitely be more like online PvP style games and things like that coming to the arcade. How soon that is, it's hard to say. I'm not the developer on those games, so I can't really give you an entire timeline on that, unfortunately. I can only push developers so much as well too, right? I'm only one person, and it's their company. They've got other things going on too. I get it. Testing online Mutant League. So I'm gonna hold off on that question for a little bit. Let's see here. Coming after the power surge, if the power is out, the unit will turn on by itself. Yes, so that's actually a built-in feature on iArcade. So the moment that you plug this thing in to the wall, it turns on. If you unplug it, it'll power off, and then if you plug it back in, it'll power back on. So that's kind of how we chose to make these boards. There's a couple different reasons why on that. We're potentially looking into other options. That's true because I understand that some of you, especially in like the really far Midwest, like Chicago's the Midwest, but barely, like the Midwest especially, or like the West, like Arizona and stuff like that too. Arizona, Louisiana, Alabama. When you guys get hit by hurricanes, or not hurricanes, like tornadoes and things all the time too, harsh thunderstorms, I realize that your power outage happens like probably at least once a week, and it's probably annoying when your machine turns back on. So totally get it. We're working on that, but in the meantime, just know that honestly, these things, if you left this on like for an entire month, it really would not up your electric bill and stuff like that too. Like you would see a couple bucks. Like when these sit idle, it's really not vamping a lot of power. It might look like it is, but it's really not. So we designed them that way as well too, right? To not eat up a lot of power and to not require like tons and tons of money to run a machine, right? So just so you know, and things like screen burn and stuff like that too. I haven't personally seen any of that yet. So like I've had my machine run like one game on the exact same screen for like 2 weeks straight the one time, and it was fine. So just so you know, these things can be, staying on for a while too. I don't necessarily suggest it all the time. And you should definitely power cycle your machine every now and then too, just because of updates and things like that too. Plus it just kind of helps the machine. It's an electronic machine. Anything with software in it, it's good to power cycle every now and then too. Your phone, your computer, your iArcade, always good to power cycle every now and then too. If you do plan on keeping it on like all the time. So just a heads up on that one. Okay, on Oils Well. Excuse me, sorry about that. So Oils Well, Zero Gunner, Sky Shark. Right, these are games that were in the original Kickstarter list too. We do own licenses to these games. It's fair. Hard to say. So there's some different issues that we have with each of these games. And fixes for these old school games are much, like I said, much harder than modern titles to do. So it takes time. We have to find the right person to do it. It's not like we can just crack open these games and do it ourselves all the time too. It takes a specialist a lot of times too. And having a specialist for these kind of games they're hard to come by. So it does take time. Stick with us on that too. My apologies for the delay in it too. I know that you guys want these games too, and trust me, I want to get these games out to you guys. Right? I hate sitting on some of these titles too, where I'm like, I want these to be on the system already to myself too. It gives me more games to release and things like that too, of course. So it's a win-win for both of us to get this done. So Oils Well, Zero Gunner, Sky Shark, yeah. Stay tuned on that one too, but just know that we are working on it. Yes, actively. This is like those are some things that are on the top of my list as well too, for sure. Let's see. As far as the initial Kickstarter list, though, by the way, as far as games go, we've released almost every single one of those games too, which is really cool nowadays. So I hope at least you're finding other titles that you like in the meantime, just like Dundara today. I'm going to keep pushing Dundara on you guys for now. Let's see. All right, it's Moose. Great. I like talking to Moose. Would it be good to have the iiRcade plugged in into a power supply with a backup battery? I mean, you can. It's totally up to you. Honestly, you can plug this thing straight into the wall. They're not going to surge or anything like that for you guys too. It has the power brick, which has protection for you too, going into the system too. The one thing I would say is definitely try to keep it plugged in the back, and then unplug it either via the wall or the outlet that it's plugged into. If it's plugged into a power strip, unplug it there instead of the one that's in the back of the machine itself. Like, don't screw off the back and unplug that. Keep that plugged in. That's the only time you might see a little bit of sparking is if you plug that in specifically, because the machine's trying to turn on right then, right? So you really want to keep it through the power brick is how you want to do the power supply. Let's see here. Neko Ghost. Great question, Derek. So I actually work with the developer very closely, which is cool. He's actually in my indie games group with me too, so I knew him actually before this project, which I didn't realize. So Victor Burgos is the creator of Neko Ghost Jump, so he's working on it. He's working on the actual release at the same time too for PC and everything too. So we're trying for a tandem release. Excuse me, but it's always difficult. Getting multiple ports for PC, consoles, and we're a console as well too, right? It's hard to do all that in tandem when you're talking about 5 different systems, right? You got a PC, you got Nintendo Switch, you got PlayStation, you got Xbox, you got iiRcade. That's a lot. That's a lot to do, and each one has their own sort of problems usually that you run into as far as development goes too. Things that are easily fixable, usually just they all differ. So making a different version is hard. So it just takes time, but he's working on it. Development got a little bit delayed, but Victor's working hard for sure. Him and the entire team. Any chance of a sale on games around the holidays? I don't know. You'll have to stick around to the holidays to find out. But we will definitely announce that around the holidays. Let me see here. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Let me just plug this guy back in. Perfect. All right. What other questions do we got? We're kind of running out of time here, too. We're pushing it. We've got about 5 minutes left, so I got about 5 minutes left of questions. I got a straight schedule here, too. I don't know. Not too creepy. I mean, I don't care. You guys can send me shirts. I'm always down for free clothing. Plug myself. What? All right, now we're getting deep level questions here. What brand of toothpaste do you use? Crest. Crest. That's definitely it. Let's see. So no longer fill up the leaderboards, but I'm seeing this again in Dealer and SpaceX. So tricky question kind of here. We're always looking into it. Is the real question, or is the real answer to the question? I myself just looked at it again today too. I might push updates for these games soon. Also, by the way, just as a heads up, for Space Ace, Dragon's Lair 2, specifically for leaderboard things like that. So we're looking into it for sure. For the most part, they should be working just fine though. To my furthest knowledge, if you're having issues, do send something to contact@iiRcade.com, and we can look into it more for sure. June pre-order, are they ever coming? Great question. We're going to do as fast as possible. Trust me, I believe manufacturing is done. Depending on the system that you're talking about. If you're talking about Space Ace and Beach Buggy, yeah, they're coming very soon for sure. MFL a little bit later. Gift cards are something that I would love to see as well too. Again, we haven't even been out for a year yet, so like that's a fun bonus feature that we would love to add. We're getting there, right? So these are things that we sort of have on the back burner right now, but we would love to get them, especially for like the holiday season stuff. I totally get it, or like birthdays and stuff like that too. It makes it easy for like iiRcade leagues and stuff too. By the way, guys, iiRcade leagues on Thursdays with Gunther. Join in, tune in, watch them, or participate. Even better if you want to play. So those are things that are like great prizes that we can give out for those kind of events too. Like every Thursday, maybe we give out a gift card for games, things like that too. Those are always options. But yeah, stay tuned on that kind of stuff too. We'll get there. Don't you worry. Let me see. A couple more questions here. So we got about a couple minutes left here. Yep, about 5 minutes. Any questions you guys want to hit me with for development, general things for iiRcade and stuff like that too? Let me know right now. This is the time. Official date for when Mutant Football League will be on the store. I have no official date for you right now. I only have an official plan. Yes. Thank you, Jeff. Hell of a lot of traction for 1 year. I agree. Thank you so much. We're getting there. So we did announce, remember too, last week we announced Space Invaders. This week we announced Elevator Action 2. So if you guys want more classic titles too, again, they're coming. But Rangox guys is where it's at for me, guys. I'm a modern gamer, so I like these kind of titles. These are the perfect fit for me. These new, they're new retro is what I like to call them. New school retro. So they have an old school retro feel. However, they're designed for today's standards of game design, right? So game design didn't even exist as a field until maybe 15 years ago, if that even too. So all of us who have degrees in game design, stuff like that too, is still a new kind of thing too. We're getting there. Let me see here. Kev with the question, do you think you would get to did we think that we would get here? Absolutely. We knew that we would get here is the real question. I mean, we announced the list of Kickstarter with almost 200 plus games at that point too, right? Or with 200 plus games, I believe. It's been a while. It's been a while for me now, thinking back to that. But yeah, we knew we would get here for sure. Where we go from here, though, that's the important part. And stay tuned on that too. So we got plenty more games coming to you guys. Of course, we're releasing games every single week. That's the intention. We don't plan on kind of slowing down anytime soon. We're going to keep the momentum going. There's no reason for us to stop right now. Retro games, modern class. Yeah, exactly. That's the bread and butter right now for me too. But the fun thing is these new experiences that we can give you guys too, right? Like White Knight is such a different thing to have on an arcade system, but it just works out with the sound and everything like that too. Put it in the basement, put it in the living room, turn off all the lights, hopefully it's storming outside, a game like that too, and just crank up the volume, get those good ghost scares, it's fun. So we love doing these new experiences as well as old experiences for nostalgia's sake, and then bringing up these just brand new kind of creating new nostalgia is really what we're going for here, right? Any update on residual from Orange Pixel? I don't believe we ever announced that. So I can't really talk about that game right now. So, but yeah, we do work closely with Orange Pixel. I talked to Pascal myself. He is the developer for Orange Pixel. Is Ninja Turtles coming? I can't say if Ninja Turtles is coming. More horror up in here. Yeah, of course. Let's do that. ColecoVision I believe you're talking about Jungle Hunt. Yeah, a little typo there. Jungle Hunt is the Coleco version, so we licensed that through Coleco, so that is the ColecoVision version of the game too. Actually, I have to double check on that. I'm pretty sure that's right though. I've got a lot of games to go through in my head, so if I'm wrong on that one, I do apologize. I can let you know though for sure. I'm pretty sure though Jungle Hunt is ColecoVision as far as I can remember too. If I miss changing that one over on the list, that's probably just user error on my fault. Again, there's a couple hundred games on the list for me to go through right now too. I'm sorry guys. I apologize. It's hard for me to get to all of them. I'm trying my best. But that's an easy fix. So if that's the case, I can fix that. Let's see. Will there be more fighting games coming down the pipeline? Of course, there's always more everything coming down the pipeline. I can't tell you exactly what right now too, but as far as fighting games go, I mean, we just released a good one to you guys too. On top of having Rage of the Dragons, if you missed Rage of the Dragons, that's like one of the best fighters for sure. I would say of all time, quite honestly too. I think it's comparable to like Street Fighter and all that stuff too. Street Fighter and Tekken and stuff like that too. Yeah, Rage of the Dragons is fantastic too. And then let me see here. We've also released plenty of others now on the system too. But yeah, we've absolutely got more fighters coming. I'm a big fighter fan, so what else we got? I've got time for like maybe 2-3 more questions, and that's about it. Tina, the answer is maybe. I can't really speak on that right now, too. But stay tuned. I think you'll have some fun surprises coming your way for sure if you're looking for more ColecoVision kind of games or games from Coleco. We'll see. We'll see. We like to keep really good relationships with everybody that we license games from, right? We're not trying to burn bridges or anything with anyone. So because of that, though, because we do treat all of our licensors and stuff like that too, like family, like they respect that, they respond to that, which is good, which means that doors are always open to get more games from these companies. So stay tuned for sure. If you want more ColecoVision, we might be able to make that happen. Wow. Okay. First off, Tim, I've got plenty more games planned before, after Zhang Pong. But Zhang Zhang is an interesting choice. I can maybe make that happen. Let's see here. All right, let's do two more questions. I'll do two more questions, and then I got my own things to do too today. I'd love to stay with you guys and chat for all Friday, play some games, but I just can't do that. Let me see here. What have I missed as far as questions? There's a lot of questions in this list. Let me see. Scrolling up, actually. All right, scrolling back down. There's a lot. Question: have you tried jukebox mode? Um, yes, I have. The answer is yes. So does it work? Yes. We're getting there. So jukebox is still in development. We haven't left you guys in the dust. Don't worry. Originally, it was slated a little earlier, but a little bit delayed by plenty of other things that are going on right now too. Switching Bluetooth to connect something is a whole different monster than getting Bluetooth to pair just with the system itself too. So that took a lot for our engineers to do, but they've got it kind of cracking now, which is great. So we'll see. We'll see how far out that is. I can't really tell you, but we're going to get it to you guys as soon as possible for sure too. Zhang loves using that feature in his office now, which is really funny. He even used it to watch a movie the other day, which is interesting. So he used the speakers for his iiRcade while he was watching a movie, which is a fun way to do it. So yeah, jukebox mode is still coming. We haven't forgot about it. It's in the works. As soon as we can get to it, like as soon as we can finish it off and get it to you guys, we're ready for it. So, all right, one more last question, Sue. Let's see here. I'll do an easy one. More sports games? Yes. The answer is yes. There are more sports games coming. What they are exactly, you'll see. I can't give away all my secrets right now as far as the games go. But all right, guys, it's about time right now to start wrapping it up. I've got nothing to play you guys out today, actually, too. There is no one more thing today. I'm actually not lying to you guys. There's no one more thing for once. I gave you guys all the games that I wanted to give you guys this morning. So Mario Cops again. Mario Cops just got listed on the store too. Wish Loves Bullets is now on the store too, as well as Ganryu. So all three of those were added to the store today for you guys too. Remember too, Rangox guys came out last week. So definitely hit that up too. For you guys wanting to play kind of gauntlet style games too, Heroes of Loot 2 went on the store last week as well too. So it's a very kind of gauntlet-esque themed game, but in a newer way. So we got Heroes of Loot 2 on the store available for you. Block in last week too, if you want more puzzle games, because I'm a big puzzle fan too. Plus it's fully Japanese, so Mark loves to play his Japanese games, so of course I had to release that for him. And then on top of that, yeah, we got so many more titles coming down the line too. Tune in on Tuesdays. And remember too, the sale is still going on through Labor Day, the summer sale. So everything is $100 off right now too. Plus if you're in the contiguous states for the US, it's free shipping. So super good value. If you guys have any friends who are on the line and things like that too, now is the time for sure. That sale is ending on Labor Day and I don't see it coming back anytime soon after that. So yeah, so $100 off right now too. And then let's see, tune in. iiRcade Leagues are on Thursdays as well too. For those of you who want to check out, iiRcade Leagues are on Thursdays. Gunther hosts them. He will post stuff all over Facebook and YouTube and things like that too, of course. But stay tuned on those things too. I highly, strongly urge you guys to compete too. That's what we're all about, getting the community together to play games. So until then, I will see you guys next Friday. Tune in on Tuesday for Zhang's announcements, and then I'll see you guys then. Have a good Friday, everybody.